Hello, everyone, and welcome to Synchronous Online Teaching Strategies for Educators. My name is Theresa Wills. I'm an assistant professor at George Mason University, and this is my normal. This is the way that I teach regularly, and I'm here to share my normal with you as you are developing your new normal. I teach in the math education department at George Mason, which means I typically teach teachers, in-service teachers and pre-service teachers, but I'm also in the public schools and I've taught these strategies to third graders as well. So hopefully you can find some way to grab these strategies and use them in your class. We are going to be moving between two applications, Blackboard Collaborate, which we will use primarily for chat box, groups, and microphone. We'll use Google Slides for everything else, and you have ownership of these slides. You can move yourself around these slides. If you head on down to slide 2 or 3, pick either one. We have several people, so there's lots of room. Tell us about your successes and celebrations. They can be related to math, they could be related to learning or your personal lives. Tell us what you're celebrating. Sonia, would you tell us a little bit about your first class online? Sonia, if you can turn on your mic, we'd love to hear about what you did online last week. That's all right. Michelle, would you share with us about filming science experiments? I feel like I need to be able to do that.
Well, we have been finding things in our toy box, and I'm like, oh, let's build a lava lamp. Oh, we didn't even know we had this. You know how you buy gifts and the kids like hide them away? Well, we did one on a volcano and we just talked about, changing the amount of vinegar and we filmed it. My boys were helping me. And then I said, and then it just leads into a good discussion on, I wonder if we change the, baking soda. It was fun.
Very cool. And I'm sure you built in that scientific process, no doubt. Um, who's been doing more walking? It looks like you've got a new record here. How's it going? Why are you doing it? And how does it make you feel?
Hi, that would be me. It feels great that's my outing. So I live alone and it gives me just a good feeling to get out and get some fresh air and some sun. I'm walking for health reasons to improve my health. I started last spring, and then I kind of fell off once school started as usual. And I picked back up right before this all started. And so we have a huge park here that's one of the ones that's still open. A lot of the city parks are restricted. Some of the suburban parks are completely closed.
Oh, well, I'm happy for you that you're able to get out. Nice job. Cheryl, tell us a little bit about the gallery walks.
Hey, so I used the interactive gallery walk because I had my students, I teach social studies, government, and I had my students the week before class make slides about interest groups. And then I used your interactive gallery walk slide and in the class had them pull up their slides and look at each other's slides using the gallery walk. They really loved making comments on each other's slides and wrote tons of comments and emojis, and it was very good, very interactive. They loved it.
Wonderful. So excited to hear that. My students really like the interactive gallery walks as well. Raha, tell us a little bit about cooking.
Hi, good morning. So, When school's in session, I don't get to cook a lot because I'm either tutoring or at school or taking a class. Um, so I've been experimenting with my cooking and a lot of my cultural dishes because I felt uncomfortable. But I've been buying more groceries, obviously, trying not to eat out. So I haven't set off any alarms and I've successfully cooked that it's edible. So I'm excited. So I think I can manage next year, maybe.
Oh, that's super exciting. I know a couple of us are trying new cooking adventures. My husband is gluten-free, so I've been trying more cookies and cakes and things like that as well. All right, folks. Again, this is the successes and celebrations. I always start with this. It helps us to build community. And I'm sure you've already noticed that there are a couple of people who are returning to these sessions, and you might already have made connections with them. It doesn't take long until students start to connect with people that they might not normally connect with in the classroom based on their seating arrangement or, their classes that they're in. All right, let's get started. Ground rules are on slide 4. Again, these are the ground rules that I use for my class, and today you all are going to be working on some ground rules for your classes and figure out how to put images in and the importance of it. So make sure you put away all distractions. This is going to be heavily involved. We are recording for public use and posting to YouTube, so please reduce or eliminate your background noise. Make sure you do all assignments before class begins. That's not for you all. Use your microphone when you're in small groups and whole groups. Be patient and professional. Use your away message when you're away from your keyboard. Don't drive while on Collaborate Ultra, and update your profile picture as often as you can. Thanks to all the folks who have been updating their profile picture so we can see what you look like, and for the different poses that you're doing. The gray slides are lots of links to everything that I've done in these professional developments. This one will be available in the gray slides coming soon, so be on the lookout for it. If you've seen it in one of these sessions, it's here. I've been doing lots of frequently asked questions videos for slide 6 and lots of recordings below it. And let's dive into our first task. Join me on slide 13. This is an independent activity, but it will just take a moment. I have been asked by several people, how do you account for classroom management and accountability when you're online? So this whole session is about classroom management and accountability and some little tricks that you should know being a teacher. The first one here is different ways of sharing Google Slides. You can share them via a public link or by student email. I've made a very short video for you to watch. If you go ahead and click that link, watch that, and when you're done, you can let me know you're ready by moving to slide 14. Google Slides offers a variety of ways of sharing your slides. Go up to the Share button and click Get Shareable Link. This public link can be sent to anybody, and anyone with the link can access your slides. They can access in a variety of ways. They can edit the slides, which is what you're doing today. They can comment on the slides, or they can view the slides. Viewing only lets them see what you have on it. It does not allow them to interact. Simply copy and paste this link into the email you're sending them or in the chat box, and they'll be able to edit them. Another way of sharing is through email address. If I type an email address, I can also choose, will that person be able to edit, comment, or view? Here, I want the person to be able to comment. There's a box to notify people, and it will send an email right to that person. The nice thing about adding people by email address is that you will always be able to see their image on the slides, and where they are typing on the slides. Also, it will restrict random everyday folks from going in and using that public link. It looks like most people are finished with the video. I could still use a couple more volunteers. Typically, I would send out students an email with a class roster. If you're willing to be a volunteer, all you would need to do is type in an assigned text box. If you could raise your hand and I will give you a number. Michelle, you are 6. Donna, you're 7. Chelsea, you're 8. Chris, you're 9. Norma, you are 10. And I could still use a few more. If you have an assigned number, go ahead and respond in slide 14 or 15. Janetta, you are 11. Cheryl, you're 12. Anyone else want to volunteer for the class matrix? I could still use a couple more. Simrat, you are 13. Bridget, you're 14. Laura, you're 15. Heather, you're 16. I hope you all gained a couple tips from that video about sharing a public link or making them private to specific people. And what I've done on slide 14 and 15 is shared with you all an accountability measure for my students where they have an assigned number, and much like a locker combination, it's for them to know and only them, and we encourage them to not share it with others. And it also gives them a little bit of being anonymous on this board. So my question to you all is, how might you assign a class matrix in your class? Go ahead and turn on your mics or raise a hand or put it in the chat box. How might you use a class matrix? Elena?
Well, our first and only day of online teaching, we actually had our successes and celebrations as a matrix, and they had their own spot where they could fill that in.
Very cool. So giving them their assigned space. Norma?
Sorry, I had to change screens. I was just typing in the chat too. I think if you wanted to pair up students, like one student put something in and someone else respond, it's just clearer space where they would go.
Oh, that's really cool. So they would even have a responding number to go to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sonia?
I was thinking of a what do you notice, what do you wonder problem, similar to what Kelsey Prada said in the chat.
Absolutely. And what Kelsey mentioned in there, some different number routines. I am a math teacher first and foremost, and we do a lot of number routines where I'm curious to see students' answer, but also their strategy. And sometimes they don't want their name attached to it, so they can have a little bit of anonymity there. Um, awesome. Something else that you learned about in the video is why some of these little avatar bubbles have people's names on them and why some of them are anonymous animals. So because I shared the link with you, you would be able to go in anonymously. But if you are already signed into Google, that's why we can see your face. So there's a little bit of opportunity there to be anonymous if you would like that. Alrighty. Come on down to slide 17. I'm going to discuss this little stop sign at the end of the session today, but in order to do that, you all need to have a couple tabs. So if you would please, you're going to go up to File and make a copy of the entire presentation. And it's just going to be a little tab that sticks in the background. You don't need to do anything else with it. Once you have that tab, let me know by moving to slide 18. You'll make a copy, a little tab will appear. Thank you, Norma. And you'll just have a little tab in the background. Again, you'll go up to File, make a copy of your entire presentation, and it will appear as a tab up in the background. And you don't need to do anything with it, just have it there. The make a copy is gray. One thing that might have done is bumped you off. I would either refresh it or just click our link again, and you should be able to do that. Alrighty, we are on slide 19. If you come on down there, you'll have other opportunities to make a copy of your slide. If there's any technical difficulties, I can help out with that. So we're going to do a breakout room activity. And on this breakout room activity, you all are going to experience what it's like to do three things: share your screen, share a tab, and share an application. And then you're going to fill out a slide about what you notice and what you wonder. You're going to be placed in different breakout rooms. I'm going to be in charge of placing, and you all will just automatically go in there. Slides are below, and there's a little message at the top to let you know what group you're in, and you type right on it. But please take some time, give everyone a turn of what it's like to share your entire screen, your tab, or your application. Alrighty, I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. Give yourself patience and grace as you try this new technology, and I'll be popping in to support you. All right, here's your breakout rooms.
Come on down to slide 6. I always start classes with successes and celebrations. This is actually typically slide number 2.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Right. So it looks like we're in group 2, correct?
That looks
Yes.
right to me.
All right. So it looks like we need to take turns sharing our entire screen, a tab, and an application. All right.
Does anyone want to start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Laude, fourth grader in Fairfax County, and I'm going to share with you, I was looking at some resources for my fourth graders, so I'm going to share with you a tab right now, which hopefully you're seeing. This is the Mount Vernon online interactive games that I was looking at posting for my kids. Can you guys see the Mount Vernon website?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Anybody else want to go next?
Hi there, Group 1. Are you all able to share your screen, or do you want some support?
Okay. Oh, we can hear you. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Oh, it looks like someone's got a video on in the background.
I love my coffee black.
All right, the way that you share your screen, at the very bottom of Collaborate, you're going to be inside Collaborate. You'll notice there's a chat button, a participants button, a share content, and a little gear. If you don't see that, you might need to pull out the little purple chevron in the bottom right corner. And under the share content, you will see share application / screen, and it'll give you some options to share tabs, your whole screen, an application. Go ahead and try out one of those. It'll let one person do it at a time. There we go. Sarah, we can see you. It looks like you're sharing the tab only. Very cool. And Sarah, if you could support people in your group, I'll go and check into other groups.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm so sorry. Why did we make a copy of the file if what we're doing is sharing the application?
Oh, I'll get to that in a little bit. That's part of my my teaching magic today.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank
No
you.
worries.
All right,
Okay.
let's see.
Do you want any
So you
support,
did-
or are you able to share?
I believe Heather just went.
Oh, cool.
I did. And it seems much easier when I'm doing it with the students. I don't know why grown-ups make me nervous.
All right, so I do.
I do. I mean,
I don't.
What do you folks use instead of Blackboard?
We're a Microsoft district, so we've had Microsoft for several years.
Absolutely.
So
Raha,
I'm
that-
just going to share an application window.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I do this, then I will just show, it's not there yet.
No problem.
Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the PowerPoint.
Yes, those are the slides.
Okay, great, thank you.
And no problem. And I took a screenshot so I can show it to you guys.
Raha, that first screenshot would
Screencastify?
Yes.
So I guess you have to add that to your Google, Google app. You have to add it in.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like at the top of my screen whenever I'm in Google.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I'm gonna try that one.
Hi, folks.
Yeah.
Just checking in.
Hi.
Were you successful on sharing your screen or an application or a tab?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. And are kids allowed to share as well, or did you have to make us moderators?
No, once you're in
question.
breakout rooms, you are able to share those different screens. Some school divisions, if you use Blackboard Collaborate, have restrictions where students will not be able to do that. But what I want to show you all here is the power in when you let students do it, what you need to know, first of all, as teachers ahead of time, and also how you leverage good classroom management.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Like it almost looks like a vortex. So
yeah, like an infinity screen.
Yes, I'm going to do it anyway just so you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. It should pop up in just a second. Okay, so if you just look over to the right, so I'm in this box here, and then I'm in sharing an application. So when that pops up, what you're going to see is you're going to see a bunch of different options. So I clicked on the first option, which was to share my whole
question, and then your answer choices would be A, B, C, D. And then under the chat box, that will allow you to copy and paste out of your other document. So your first question would be what answer, and then you, oh shoot, well, how about what answer?
Anyone misfit would take credit.
And then A.
The rest of the group can't see that. So you can share one thing at a time.
Oh, I haven't tried that yet, but that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
I need to shrink this text.
Blackboard, and I'm not sure that I like all of Collaborate Ultra, so I kind of like this idea of using Google Slides.
Oh, something we found when we were going to one of our PD sessions, maybe you folks are at the same one, but
I guess as you said, everybody can see the files when you're when you go to a breakout room. And so like if you have the slide up,
Yeah, it's a fee. You can. I just went. I was multitasking. You can get an individual license for $300 a year, but
Oh
you're
my
limited.
I guess it's that whole thing like with the share screen. I guess they're kind of moderators.
Welcome back, everyone. You are back in the main room. Hello there and welcome back. Again, in these sessions, it is not required that you finish the slide that I gave you because I'm not modeling how to teach with students. I'm modeling how to teach with adults. And you guys can take an idea and run with it. So, I know that there are several questions here, and I would love to be able to get to all of your questions. One thing I'd like to note, and I see people are already there, on the very last slide, I have something called a virtual parking lot. I won't leave today's session without answering all of those questions. So if you have a burning question at any time, go ahead and type it in there. On slide 26, I have some discussion prompts that are rather important so that you have the knowledge to move forward as a teacher in knowing what classroom management snags you might come into and how to address them. What are some of the benefits of sharing a tab and not the entire screen? Did anyone find benefits of that?
You may have a different tab open that you don't want to share.
Right. I know I always have my email and my calendar up, and, you know, I don't want people to see what my other tabs are. So I just want to show the one. Elena?
I thought it was faster. It went directly as opposed to when I would share the whole screen, then I would be searching for the tab, and then I would click on it. It just seems a lot faster to just go straight to the tab.
Great. I haven't experienced that one, but that is good to know. Go ahead, Michelle.
When you share a tab, you can toggle back to Google Blackboard Collaborate, and the shared tab is still sharing, but you can kind of monitor the chats, I think.
Right, that students don't get to see what you're seeing. So if you are monitoring chats, if you're looking at some private messages between students, absolutely. Raha? Oh, Raha, did you want to turn on your microphone?
Thank you. I was literally talking the whole time. But when you're sharing the tab and you're recording, you're basically recording for purposes if a student misses that session, they can look at the tab and listen to the voice as they're playing back the recording. Does that make sense?
It does. So you have a record of what you are seeing on that Google slide all throughout the class session. Go ahead, Lindsay.
So when you share just the tab instead of your entire window, you can avoid sort of that infinity screen that seems to really confuse and frustrate some people.
Right. So you avoid that screen within the screen within the screen within the screen. One other important thing that you all should know to protect yourselves as teachers and your privacy is, do you all have bookmarks at the top of your screen? If you do, when you share your whole screen, your students see your bookmarks. Similarly, if students have bookmarks, then when they share their whole screen, everyone sees those bookmarks on the bookmark bar. So just be aware that there is information on your screen that you might not intend to share, and one way of avoiding that is by sharing just the tab. Elena?
When you share a tab and you're sharing, for example, Google Slide, it continually, just for confirmation, if kids are adding to it, they're seeing that change simultaneously?
Yes, they are.
Okay, good.
Go ahead, Chris.
you confirm again? I'm sorry. I am having issues today. How is it different to share the tab versus to share the screen? I thought to do that, what I've been doing is taking the tab and making it a separate, like you can
Sure,
have multiple Google Chrome. So I
you could do
just
that.
pull the tab out and then that makes it a separate thing and I've been using that.
Yeah.
What's different with just sharing an individual tab?
So
I haven't seen that as even an option.
yeah, I'm gonna go over like kind of directions on how to do that again at the very end. That way we
Thank
can
you.
keep the flow. But if you would please write that important question on slide 38 in the virtual parking lot, I'll walk you through the different steps and why that could be different. Awesome. And then one other thing you might have noticed, especially if you've been to another session of mine, is on your Notice Wonder screen, you cannot move the bubbles anymore. Those bubbles and those clip art images are locked down. You can move the text box that you wrote in, but you can't move the template. And sometimes that's really useful and sometimes that's very annoying. So depending on what you want to do as a designer of your slides, in this case, the template is actually an image. I just saved it in Paint because everyone has Paint. I saved the image and then I created a background of the image. And again, I'll show you the step-by-step process of how to do that at the end there, but it's a little trick if you want your template to be stuck. Alrighty, if you would take a moment, please, and make a copy of this presentation. It will just be another little tab in the background. And thank you to Semra who let me know that you do have to be logged in to make a copy. I was unaware of that, so I'm learning something new every day. Once you have that copy, no worries. Just keep it in the background and join me on slide 28. On slide 28, you have your next activity to do with a group. And let's see, we have 34 people. I want 6 groups. I have my group randomizer over here. There we go. We'll do that. Alrighty, you all are on slide 28. This is the activity. You are going to be moving yourself into a breakout room shortly. Depending on when your birthday is, will be your designation for your room. Once you're there, you're going to assign some different roles. Somebody will be the typer, someone will be the image finder, someone will be the timekeeper. As a group, determine what your rules and expectations should be for your class and come up with a couple for the group. Find clip art images. You don't have to use mine, you can find others. And redesign your slide. When you're finished redesigning it, or when there's about 2 minutes left, watch that video and send me a private message. There's a lot to do there. Your timekeeper will be in charge of keeping you all on track. Alrighty, I am making breakout rooms now. I'm making 6 of them. You should see from that list of birthdays what room you'll be going to. If you know how to move yourself to a room, you can go ahead and do it now. If you don't know, I'm very happy to show you. I'm going to share my screen with you. To move into breakout rooms, you move over to Collaborate and go under Attendees. You probably see this big list of people. You're going to scroll down till you find your room. And then you'll click the little green arrow to enter your room. Excellent job. If you're still here, You'll go into Collaborate. Click on the Attendees button, and the rooms are way below all the names. You just click the little green arrow to go into that room. Norma and Sarah, I noticed you're still in the main room. Can I give you support for moving into the breakout rooms? Or maybe did you just step away?
I need some help. I stepped away, but this is the same thing that happened to me yesterday, Theresa. I don't see my name in any of the rooms. I'm in where it says, and I see myself as a participant. Can you tell me which room I should be in?
Yep, everything is exactly as it should be. If you look at slide 28, I have given you directions to go into a certain room, and you're going to move yourself this time.
I see. Okay, that's what I was missing yesterday too. I didn't know which room to go into.
Gotcha.
Okay. And where would I see?
Okay, so you're going to go into Collaborate, and you're going to go under the Participants tab.
Yeah, no, I'm there, but how do I, birthday, there we go.
Yep,
Birthday.
you scroll down to your
Got
room.
it now.
Yep, and hit the green arrow.
Got it.
Sarah, I'm happy to support you also. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
All right. On your screen, you probably have this little purple chevron way down at the bottom, and it opens up.
Yeah, I do see all of the participants in their group, and of course, I'm the only one who hasn't found my way. I don't know how to put myself in group 5.
All right, so you'll scroll down, and you just hit that little green arrow for group 5. That'll put you in it.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you so
worries.
much.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, maybe something like be safe, because then you could customize that, because I know for second graders, be safe is you're not jumping off of the table or standing on a chair, and for a high schooler, be safe is, you're not driving.
I know we had some kids that were walking around their houses.
Timekeeper. It's the clock, so we're at 9 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Joy.
All right, who would like to be the typer and the image finder?
I can try and find images. Oh,
So
sorry.
one of the first things that we noticed last week when we first started was kids were typing on their iPhones at the time.
Way all actions.
Yes.
Yeah. And eliminate background noise.
Yes. Yeah. I know with especially our kids at home, like it's hard because they might have little brothers or sisters, but we just ask them to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or animals. My dog was just barking up a storm. And I had to do it myself.
Right.
So it might be like we might go back maybe when we go back to that one, like put a picture of a little baby or a little animal.
Right.
Yes, I like that, an animal.
The microphone, we don't actually have breakout groups for some of my teachers. So I coach teachers, so I've been kind of creating slides with our curriculum based on Theresa's great work. But one of the platforms, Google Meets, doesn't have breakout rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So that use your mic in breakout rooms doesn't really apply unless
No. Oh, you do not do that. That only encourages more creative behavior.
Oh no, I take it back. I'm happy in 4th grade.
Yeah, my 4th graders don't do that stuff yet.
Even if they do, it's in between them, and then it's not towards us, I guess.
What about like when we're responding to Google Slides, like use positive words or like
positive tone?
Yeah. Like we add
so
some.
Are we thinking the one where the driving is replaced that with a positive tone?
Yes. Or
Okay.
appropriate language, appropriate positive language.
Using appropriate positive.
So somebody needs to get the image for positive language.
Yes, I think we have an image.
See, I almost would have said school appropriate.
Oh,
okay.
The same behavior we would expect you to show in the classroom if I was sitting in front of you is the same behavior I would expect you to show online when I can only reach out and electronically throttle you.
Mm-hmm.
We just
The be patient.
I changed that wording for kids.
Yeah. Again, I have it in a different window here, of course.
If we put something, I know my school has said a lot in like the digital directions they've sent out to kids, like be patient and try your best or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We talk about digital citizenship, lots of those things.
Or be patient and considerate with yourself and others. Kind of like going back to the, has she done the oath yet? I came a little bit later. There's a problem.
You do the oath with just the math sessions, maybe?
I think so. I didn't see it today.
With the math sessions.
Okay.
From the
Okay.
And we can just change this to, participate.
Oh, good.
'Cause some people are not
Participate
comfortable
responsibly?
speaking. They can just type, like you said, they can just type it in the chat box. So I changed it to we can change the
Participate.
picture
I'll
to
go
say
find a picture.
participate actively
That's a good one.
and staying on tasks.
Okay.
Or
So
all right, so that's
so you need a picture for that.
So if my timing is correct, we have about 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
Break.
it's gonna be patient and professional. I don't know, professional. The kids would think like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah, depending on the level.
I'm just gonna put patient and respectful. I mean, it's okay if you don't finish, like she said, but this is. Yeah, the distractions picture looks like a teenager, like an adult. That's not what kids have. Yeah. We probably have like a minute. Oh, she's.
Let me get this last picture and then I'll
So
see.
then my time probably didn't start right away. I guess she meant from the minute.
Oh, shoot, we have to watch the video. One person sent me a project.
Yeah,
We have to watch the video.
Hers just says 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes on mine. So, okay.
All right.
So back up and watch the video.
Gotta watch the video.
Okay.
One thing that can typically happen when students are in small groups is there's a classroom management issue that needs to be addressed. Right now, I've probed the teachers in these rooms to watch a video about what happens when a student is misbehaving and another student wants you to come to their group for help. In a few minutes, you're probably going to see some messages come up on my screen, private messages from individual students. Other students cannot see these, just me and the student who sent it. And then I can just move on into their breakout room. They don't know that I'm moving in there unless they're watching, and most of them are on Google Slides and not watching. So I can listen to the issue and then take action. All right, so Francis is in group 2 and he might be having a problem with team members. I can always click and go into group 2 without them really knowing.
Still be.
Hi there, group 2. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the main room. Hello there and welcome back. I hope you've seen a couple tips and tricks with classroom management there. I received several messages, private messages from students, and nobody else was able to see them. And so they are able to reach out to you for help if they need help in their groups. I am on slide 35 if you want to come on down there. You all brought in so many really neat words and images for your ground rules, and I really wanted to applaud you on that because you're able to think about what's important to you in your class. I have a question for many of you. In the gaming world, I used to be a big online gamer. That's actually how I learned all these like tips and tricks, because in World of Warcraft, you have 100 people getting together to work on some battle, and you need to have organization in chat and voice and all these different areas. So we use this message AFK, away from keyboard, and we type it out when we leave and move away. I'm curious why that might be useful for your students to use the away from keyboard message. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay, so I was sharing in our group that like you can set a norm for your kids that if they need to go to the bathroom or grab a quick snack, they can use that. Either they can type the AFK or they can change their status to away from session. So that way you're not calling on a kid that's not there.
Absolutely. And when you're making breakout rooms, one thing I do frequently is I do pair shares. So if my students are not very responsive, they're very quiet that day, I'll just put everyone in a pair so they can't hide and they can talk with their buddy. But if I see someone has an away message up, I won't put them in a pair, I'll put them in a triad so they can still get access. And one other thing I wanted to mention are the avatar bubbles. You've probably seen it the whole time. I noticed there's one student on slide 29, 2 on slide 30, 4 on slide 31. Oh, now they're coming down. And so that's just another little classroom management trick that you can see the little avatar bubbles and where students are, if they're following along with you, or if they need more time on a slide. Alrighty, I'm going to ask you one more time to make a copy. Norma also mentioned gallery view. Yes, absolutely. I'll share that one too here in a minute. You're probably wondering, why on earth have we been making copies of slides? Personally, I find it is the easiest way to maintain a chronological record of what's going on. At times when students are editing slides, they might mess up and you can go back to a previous copy that slide and paste it back in where it needs to go. There are other ways Google makes it so that you can revert back to different ones in history of time, but they're clunky in comparison to making copies. So I encourage you, let me share my screen here. I encourage you at different points in your lesson to just make a quick copy. It'll appear up at the top and I can scroll down and I can make sure that, you know what, we don't lose the student work that's on slide 15 and 16. When there's a great time to copy it, I'll do that and we'll keep moving along. So that's why you've been creating those copies. You'll notice that the original copy, the next, and the next all have more added to it because we did more. I'm going to leave you all with this message on slide 37. We all have our own pedagogies, our own opinions on online learning. This is what I hope that you take from these classes. Teaching your students, teach them to be digital citizens. Teach them how to undo mistakes. Teach them how to respect others' work. Teach them that they are responsible for their actions online. Teach them about cyberbullying and how to be a cyber hero. Teach them how to ask for help. Teach them how to say, I'm sorry, online. Teach them the most important skill that they're going to use in their lives. Teach them to be digital citizens. That's my hope to you all as you go off and do more of this. I hope that you teach the students. It's so easy to restrict all kinds of access, and you might do that at the very beginning. But if we don't teach them, they're going to grow up in a world where they have all this access and they're not going to know what to do with it. So I really hope that you think about that and hold that in your heart. And good luck with your online teaching. At this point, I already see there's tons of questions in the virtual parking lot, so I'm going to go through and answer them. You can log off at any time, but I hope you learned some tricks about accountability and classroom management from this session. All right. Somebody said, Theresa, can you recommend a crash course on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra? Honestly, the Blackboard tutorials that they have are really good. If you go to YouTube and just type in Blackboard tutorial, watching those gives you so much. And always, if you have questions about ways to kind of trick it or do different things, you can email me. And when people have questions, I put those responses in video form. So like slide 7, people ask, well, how do you manage those 2 tabs? It's really annoying for me. And I've got a tip. How to create breakout rooms, I've got a tip. So those are both in the in my videos. How do you make videos talking as you share your screen? What program do you record with? I use Camtasia, but that's a paid for one. Screencastify is free right now, and educators are really using that. The nice thing about Screencastify is it is cloud-based, which means you can use it on Chromebooks. And when you're looking at an equity standpoint, that's really important to me. When a teacher sends students to a breakout room, do the students have access to all sharing options, or can a teacher turn those off before sending them to breakout rooms? So some school divisions have ways that you can restrict things like microphone, video, sharing applications. I would check with your school division technology specialist to see what version of Blackboard that you have. But usually when you set it up, you can post different restrictions. How do you share a tab versus the screen? Right now, I'm sharing my entire screen. Let me stop this and I'll share the other half of my screen. All right, you're probably seeing the infinity cube here. I go up to, ooh, this is going to be really hard to model. I go up to the share application screen and you get a couple choices. You'll have to just look at the video recording afterwards because I'm not sure how to share it when it's sharing. But you'll have different choices. Right now I'm doing my whole screen. You can see all the tabs that I have up at the top. And I can also share a tab. I have lots of tabs open. So you're seeing now just one of the tabs. For you, those of you watching the recording, there's a little blue outline around the tab that I'm sharing. How often do you make a copy of the slides? Do you have a blank master copy and then make a class copy? Yes. So I usually have a template that I have at the beginning because I usually teach multiple classes the same thing, much like a middle or high school teacher does. And then I create copies for the different classes. So I might make a Monday copy, Tuesday copy, Wednesday copy. How often do I make copies of my slideshow? Whenever I see really cool stuff on there that I don't want to lose. And generally speaking, in my master's program when I'm working with other teachers, and even with that third grade class, after about a month with the third graders, they weren't deleting things. And when they were, they realized it and they just did Control Z and they undid it. So if you have that strong community where you've taught them how to undo mistakes, I don't even make copies in those classes anymore, just when I'm with people who are brand new to it. How do I update my profile picture? So I'm looking for the slides from a previous math session. I am looking for a slide of triangles. Oh, so Heather, the slides are all in these gray slides. Let me share my screen. And the triangle activity is on currently slide 13. It's right up here, the triangular scones. There's the video of the recording, the blank, and the completed. Do you use Collaborate to record? I ask because, oh yeah, so I do exactly like this. I can hit the record button right now. You see where I am. You see when I move into the different breakout rooms, and you'll be able to hear what's happening in those breakout rooms. I think I answered the how to share the screen. It works best to view in the video because I can't share how to share while sharing. When I turn off the video in Collaborate and then we come to the breakout rooms, I notice the kids had video access again. Michelle, this can be turned off in your initial settings, but again, that's going to be determined by what your school has purchased. If you let me know who your tech person is, I'm happy to work with them to figure out this answer, but they might already know that. So reach out to them and send me an email if you still have that question. Someone wrote, I wish we could record individual breakout rooms. Depending on your students' computers, whether they're personal or school-based computers, you might be able to download Screencastify as one of the school-approved programs. If you do, much like today when we had those different roles, you can have a recorder, and they record what happens in the breakout room. They can do that, and you can do different things once they have that recorded video. If we have a disruptive student in the class, how do we remove the student for a time? Yeah, so you can remove students at any time. You would just go under your attendees, and only moderators can do this, so you'll have to watch the recording to see what I'm doing. But I can go to a student who needs to be removed for a short amount of time. I can click on the triple dots and I can remove them from the session, and that will boost them out for several minutes, and they'll have to log in a different way. Someone asked if Blackboard is similar to Canvas. I have not experienced Canvas, but I do have an expert in Canvas. If you send me an email, I will send that along to her. Is there a free version of Blackboard? Yes, Zoom. Zoom, Z-O-O-M, has so many of the same features. They are very, very similar. I just use Collaborate because I have it, but Zoom is very similar. I think I got to all the questions. If you have another one, please just let me know. Otherwise, thanks for coming, everyone, and I'll be posting new ones soon. Again, if you want to follow me on YouTube, you'll get access to the videos. Twitter, I'll put new ones out every day. And PD registrations, I have new PDs all the time.